I called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator, it's because he is. It's because he is. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce. Because we have to ferociously push back on this. The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully.
Is there something going on that we're missing?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, whose balls is he hiding in his cheeks?
Yeah.
That's the first question I want to know. And I don't love the way he says fierce.
Yeah.
Tim Walz's squeaky clean image just went up in smoke, like a bonfire gone wild at a summer tailgate. Tyrus didn't show up to talk. He came ready to explode. And wow, did he ignite the scene. This wasn't some lazy, half-baked rant squeezed between commercials. It was a full-on demolition of Minnesota's so-called favorite nice guy. In true Gutfeld style, Tyrus pried open Walz's political vault like a raccoon with a crowbar, and what poured out looked less like leadership and more like a deleted episode of Tiger King. Once the truth started flowing, there was no stopping it. Walz was cornered, sweating, and suddenly Minnesota nice turned into Minnesota nope.
It's because he is. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce. Because we have to ferociously push back on this. The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully, to watch this bully and to stop it. And when it's a child, you talk to them and you tell them why bullying's wrong. But when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully the shit out of him back. This is a weak, cruel man that takes it out.
Tyrus must have been scrolling through the morning headlines, coffee in hand, when he snapped and thought, that's it, the clown show ends now. You could almost feel the shift in the air. When Tyrus says enough, it doesn't sound like a polite warning. It sounds like a heavyweight wrestler calling out a politician in the middle of the ring, microphone blazing and the crowd going wild. Greg Gutfeld jumped in, joking, I haven't seen a man this nervous since Brian Stelter heard about keto, and the studio erupted with laughter. The energy was electric, pure fireworks, unfiltered, unstoppable. If political takedowns had weight divisions, this one wouldn't just be a fight, it would be a championship brawl of epic proportions.
He is deeply part of it. That's one of the, I mean, I think it goes, you know, and you can look at the reasons why we've had this sort of dialectic over the Me Too movement.
How do you fight it?
It's, and well, this
I
notion
think
of
I could kick most of their.
What he's mad about is his own fault. He's mad about the image that was portrayed of him as the hunter. And who did that? You did that. We just laughed about it because the one thing you can't do is you can't front. You can't floss. Those are two key words when it comes to manhood.
If you're loving this roast, smash that subscribe button before Walz calls for another dramatic pause for reflection. Tyrus didn't just give the guy a little nudge. He body slammed him straight into the national spotlight, and the impact was loud enough to shake Minnesota's calm image to its core. Suddenly, the so-called dad next door looked more like that neighbor who borrows your tools and then decides to run for office without returning them. His calm, easygoing persona cracked wide open like a frozen Walmart parking lot in February. And as Gutfeld joked, you can slap a smile on mediocrity, but it still smells like government. The audience couldn't help but laugh, because the truth hit harder than any punchline.
Yeah.
A teacher snatches the bully's ass up.
Yeah.
Come sit with me. That's why I know someone's bully. Oh, you can sit with me for a while. And then I would lean on him. I'd bully him back. He's not a teacher. He's not a politician. He's a creepy guy who can't remember his speeches. I don't know what the hell was in the water in that White House, or was everyone on the same bad cocaine? But Kamala can't speak. He can't speak. Biden was so high he couldn't remember anything. Like, this is literally the dumbest administration of all time. Why is he talking?
It really is the ultimate clown show, and I said this in the pod. He's a clown.
America's been fed the tale of Tim Walz as the wholesome Midwestern hero, the friendly guy mowing his lawn, waving at neighbors, and showing up to the church potluck with a bowl of potato salad. But Tyrus took one look and said, that's not potato salad, that's political mayo. He shredded that aw shucks act like spoiled deli meat past its expiration date. Greg Gutfeld couldn't resist adding, you can practically see his campaign team rehearse the wave. 3 pumps, 1 nod, and a sprinkle of fake sincerity. To Tyrus, Walz wasn't genuine at all. He was an overcooked casserole of recycled slogans and passive leadership. Every bite of that performance tasted like leftover politics reheated for prime time.
I feel bad for Elon. Mm-hmm. I would be furious if I was him. Mm-hmm. If this is who you sent to troll me,
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing wrong to get the guy from D Team to come out at Family Theater and call me names?
Yeah.
Like, Tim, I would, if they were like, oh, Tyrus, man, ooh, tough news cycle. Tim Walz is talking about you. I'd be like, oh, Timmy, I want to fight him.
Then came the knockout punch that left the audience gasping. Tyrus ripped apart Walz's feel-good backstory, the teacher, the veteran, the coach, and smirked, great resume, terrible sequel. Because once Walz got into office, the performance didn't match the script. He went from small-town dad to big government dad, grounding everyone during lockdowns while still sneaking out for takeout like nothing happened. Tyrus mocked him like a cheesy late-night infomercial, shouting, during COVID, you couldn't go to church. But hey, you could still buy booze and scratch-offs. The crowd roared as Gutfeld added, only in Minnesota can you buy whiskey at midnight, but get fined for breathing too close to a pew. It was brutal, hilarious, and oh so true.
Tweets, my DMs, like just one arm, and I just want to slap the. He's so weak. He brings nothing. If you were gonna go after someone, man to man, hit him with a fact. Hit him with something real.
Yes.
You don't have anything. And here's the cold part. If Elon called him up and said, hey, Tim, you want a job? He would take it. Because that's what spineless, he would, and when he was questioned, he was like, I was just holding him in account. You know, I respect him and I'm so happy to be working for X. He is the worst player on their team, and they don't mind sending him out because
They're trying to get him off the table.
Yeah.
They're putting him out early so he can't be a factor.
1 minute Walz supports something, and the next he's completely against it, depending on whether CNN nods or frowns that day. Tyrus called it the Cirque du Soleil of politics, and the crowd couldn't stop laughing. The man's done more flips than the real estate market under Biden. Tyrus roared, and Gutfeld smirked. At this rate, he should just join Cirque du Soleil. At least there he'd get paid to pretend. Walz's constant backflips are so relentless, you half expect him to pull a hamstring mid-speech. It's the kind of fake relatability you'd find at Target, but with a Neiman Marcus price tag. That's the hypocrisy Tyrus feasts on for breakfast, and he never leaves leftovers.
Levine, look, he has a sports coat and a zip-up sweater underneath. No man wears that.
I may have done that in the past.
Yes.
I won't now, Tyrus.
Yeah, and one day somebody's going to explain what a corporate income tax is to these people. It's not paid by this. It's not paid by the corporation. It's not like a building that goes, I've got to pay taxes. It's the workers.
Politics isn't about truth anymore. It's all theater now, and Walz plays the everyman with that rehearsed concern and his trademark golly gee grin. Tyrus ripped him apart, calling it the children's magician act of governance, because every time Walz pulls something from his hat, it's another empty promise, and somehow half the audience still claps. Gutfeld chimed in, except instead of doves, it's just excuses. The illusion shattered fast once people spotted the trick. During the pandemic, the cracks were impossible to ignore. Gyms closed, liquor stores open, logic nowhere to be found. And when the riots hit, Walz froze like a deer in the headlights. Tyrus mocked, he tried to fight chaos with a garden hose. Maybe next time bring a plan instead of prayers.
That's a big red flag. Whenever you meet someone and they have to give you their resume,
yes.
and then as soon as they talk, you're like, that's why you gave me your resume.
Yeah, because it doesn't speak for itself.
You suck.
Yeah. It's like when people have their PhD on their Twitter handle. It's like, you know, this person's completely bonkers.
And their pronouns.
Yes. Are you mad though, Tyrus, that like beards have been kind of co-opted by beta males like Tyler?
No, because it's like all. Wait, hold on. Watch what I say. I will around, stick my hand up your back, and make you my puppet.
That's when Tyrus turned the scene into a full-blown sitcom. He painted Walz as the neighbor who promises to fix the fence, but shows up with duct tape and a podcast about empathy. Greg Gutfeld burst out laughing, saying, he's like Mr. Rogers if Mr. Rogers outsourced his neighborhood to a task force. Every grand promise, free this, expanded that, Sounded noble at first, until reality came knocking with the bill. Minnesota didn't get a utopia, it got a government group project where everyone forgot their assignment. The end result? A PowerPoint of excuses and a state barely held together by spin and duct tape.
I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway, even if the governor ran, the real governor, not the governor from Minnesota, he's a sick puppy, that guy. That poor guy, feels sorry for him. But
By this point, Tyrus was on a roll. Unstoppable and ruthless. He compared Walz's leadership to karaoke. He nails the first verse, then mumbles through the rest like he's forgotten the lyrics. Gutfeld added with a smirk, he's the kind of guy who talks about tax relief like it's a diet. Lots of talk, no follow through. The crowd roared as Tyrus tore into the irony of it all. The so-called champion of working families digging through those same families' couch cushions for spare change. Schools were sliding downhill faster than a snowstorm on I-94, and the governor, who once taught kids about responsibility, was now steering the state straight into a curriculum meltdown.
What do you make? Whoa, you got something there?
Hold on, before we do this, man, I got to protein up. Hold on.
chug, 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 chug. Oh, he's chugging it.
I need more protein, Gutfeld. I got my protein pudding, my protein shakes, jerky if you piss me off, but this ain't enough protein for this segment, Greg. I got an old school distillery here.
Where'd you get?
Then came the absolute disaster. Law and order. Gutfeld deadpanned. It's like watching the Titanic captained by someone who just downloaded Google Maps. And the room erupted with laughter. Walz talks about justice and reform while cities burn and businesses vanish faster than his approval ratings. Every time he's questioned, he flashes that military background like a VIP badge at a rock concert. Tyrus pounced, bro, this isn't Call of Duty. You don't get extra lives for flashbacks. He tore into Walz, calling him a mood ring politician, one who changes tone depending on which ghost is whispering in his ear. It was brutal, sharp, and impossible to ignore.
I gotta tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So, you see what I did there? I got to tell you, pointing out just an observation of mine that I made. I just have to say it. You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy, and
then Tyrus hit his peak. Comedy and chaos rolled into one. Walz, he joked, looks like the kind of guy who practices empathy in the mirror, asking, how's this look, honey? More concern, less jaw clench. The audience lost it, and Gutfeld cracked. If sincerity were Wi-Fi, his would drop every 3 minutes. Walz's idea of unity, they said, worked about as well as Family Monopoly night. Flipped boards, flying insults, and someone faking a stomachache to leave early. To Tyrus, Walz wasn't leading, he was marketing leadership, a plaid-clad salesman peddling optimism with 200,000 miles on the odometer. But Tyrus wasn't done, not even close. He went for the encore that turned laughter into disbelief, saying, Tim Walz is what happens when you give a substitute teacher the nuclear codes. The audience cracked up as Gutfeld leaned in, smirking. He governs like a guy who thinks leadership just means talking slower and waving his hands. Every move Walz made felt like a committee-approved shrug, the kind of leadership that could turn a fireworks show into a fire drill. Tyrus piled on, saying Walz has the energy of a man who'd call a task force just to decide on pizza toppings. That blend of humor and harsh truth cut deep because the image of a governor scared of his own decisions is both hilarious and terrifying.
Former VP nominee Tim Walz, he joined Beto O'Rourke at a Texas town hall last night, and the estrogen levels were enough to give Chuck Norris menstrual cramps. I wonder, is our strength our diversity?
Our strength is our diversity. We've been talking about this for years as a country of immigrants, and we let them define the issue on immigration. We let them define the issue on DEI, and we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. We're going to put them in, and we're going to execute them.
So, wait, you lost because you weren't woken.
By the finale, Tyrus tore away every last shred of fake charm until there was nothing left but the cold truth. This wasn't Minnesota nice, it was Minnesota manufactured. The crowd laughed, but beneath the humor, they nodded because they saw it too. The pattern, the contradictions, the endless posing. Walz's "I'm just like you" routine had finally collapsed under its own weight. Gutfeld nailed the closing line, sneering, "Walz is what happens when you order authenticity from Wish," and the audience roared. Tyrus delivered the final jab, saying, "This guy's running Minnesota like he's building IKEA furniture, blindfolded, missing screws, but somehow full of confidence." The applause wasn't just for the jokes, it was for the honesty hiding in the laughter. When the curtain finally fell, not even Walz's cozy cardigan could cover the cracks. Gutfeld sealed the roast with a grin sharp enough to cut glass, saying, "Tim Walz isn't leading Minnesota, he's babysitting it." The crowd exploded with cheers as Tyrus added, "He's the kind of politician who mistakes likability for leadership and schedules empathy like a Zoom call." Together they ripped down the curtain of pretense and left nothing but the raw truth standing tall. By the end, Walz's reputation looked less like a legacy and more like a blooper reel of bad decisions. And the laughter didn't just close the show, it buried the myth of Minnesota nice, 6 feet deep under a mountain of punchlines and political reality.